Hi guys, and welcome to this episode of the Happy Knitting Podcast. My name is Julia and I'm coming to you from the UK. Today is Wednesday, the 26th of February 2025. It's been 2 weeks. I haven't caught you up on my knitting in a while, so I thought I'd check in and record a little episode today while on my lunch break. As you may be able to tell, I don't have that much of a voice. 3 weeks of my son coughing into my face has paid off, but I'm fine. I just hope the recording is all right. But yeah, let's talk about the knitting and then I'll catch you up on other life events and stuff at the end. I'll try to anyways. So I am wearing my FO. How huge is this thing? I haven't taken particular care in putting this on because I knew I was going to take it off anyways. But this is my finished All Summer Go Summer shawl by Stephen West for his glow along. And I am showing you the front. Yes, all good. So in case you can't see, it is huge, which is hilarious because I cut out an entire section and it is still massive. I think partly it may also be to do with me being a loose knitter. I haven't checked my gauge. I did go down quite significantly in needle size, but still, this thing is massive. I'm not sure why there is an end dangling. All the ends have been woven in. I just need to... I thought I cut them all off before this episode, but apparently I haven't. But yeah, this is my shawl, and I love it so much. I also love that it's done because I am very much done with this. But yeah, it is the awesome Gossamer shawl, and I only basically did one quite large modification in that I skipped the large bubble area. So there's small bubbles and medium bubbles, and then there should be even larger bubbles before you do this border. But instead I attached the border right to these medium bubbles, which wasn't that difficult to do. You basically, because it all stacks up, you just have to make sure you have, I think, 2 stitches less per little chevron. So it was a little bit of math, but not very much. And I will say the rows were still so long on the border, even though I omitted an entire section, I couldn't even imagine knitting the whole thing. And as you can tell, I think I've made the right choice. I always felt like mine was getting really, really big. And yeah, it must be a gauge thing or maybe a yarn thing, but it is still absolutely huge. I need to work on how to wear and style this, but it's going to be very, very warm. And I used mohair held double as per the pattern. I actually used a combination of colors very similar to one of the kits. But I used this mohair, which is Mayflower Super Kid Silk, which I really liked. This is definitely one of the more sort of budget-friendly mohairs, although I would say none of them are particularly budget-friendly. Because I hate the drops mohair, I just can't stand it, I find it scratchy. And this I really enjoyed, it's really nice. As you can tell, I have quite a bit left over, so I used, annoyingly, just over 1 ball for most of the colors. It's not a massive issue because I probably wouldn't have returned the balls that I had left over. I'm probably going to use them to make like other projects and musselburgh hats and stuff like that. It's always good to have mohair. But yeah, so I didn't use that much yarn, but obviously still had to buy quite a bit for this shawl. And I think only 2 of the colors I didn't dip into the second ball, although for most of them it was literally sort of on the last row of each color that I ran out of the first ball. Oh well, it is done. I have blocked it, and it is very, very drapey, and yeah, I love it. Honestly, I haven't really had the chance to wear it because it was a little bit warmer these past couple of days, but it's definitely cooling down again, which is worrying because I've done a lot of gardening and I was very optimistic, but this will come into play for sure. So yeah, I think that's all I have to say about my shawl, and this is really awkward to show. I'm just gonna get rid of it. I am also wearing my Cliver sweater by Sandnes Garn, which you will have seen me knit for a while if you've been following these past few months. This is knit out of Tin Pear Gynt, and I have been wearing this quite a bit. It's really comfortable because it has these sort of, oh, you can't tell. I made the sleeves more fitted than the pattern, but they're still quite spacious. So it just makes it for like a nice sort of sweatshirty feeling, which is really good. So I've been wearing that and enjoying that. All right, should we talk about some new projects before my voice goes? Let's start with the most exciting bit. I have 2 new cast-ons. One of them is also a sort of acquisition because I saw Laura Penrose, who I'm sure most of you will know her designs and or podcast. She designed a Formula One shawl. It doesn't have to be Formula One, but she named it the Russell Scarf. And I thought that was just so fun, and the pattern looked really simple. And I applied to be a test knitter, and I did the test knit. I say I did the test knit. I haven't finished the scarf yet, but you only had to do, I think, 1 section for it to be tested, so that is good. And one of the reasons why I chose to do this test knit was because her yarn choice was really interesting to me. She used this yarn, which is Isaiah Soft. I believe this used to be called Isaiah EcoSoft, which I have been wanting to try. It's sort of like an alternative to Drops Air, which I had 1 color of Drops Air in my stash, but it's like an icy blue. So I didn't really want to use that, and I would have had to buy a second color anyways. So I used that as an excuse to buy myself 2 colors of Isaiah Soft just to try it. So they are shades 4 and 6. So there are not that many shades to choose from. And obviously it is a colorwork scarf worked in the round with a clever cast on. And it's pretty straightforward. So it was very simple knitting. And now that I've done the first section, the first repeat, I don't even check back on the pattern. I just read my knitting and just do the same again. And as you can tell, again, I went for a neutral color scheme, and I'm really excited about it. Laura knit hers in like a gray and white, sort of like more grayish base, and this color is a little bit more beige than I would have expected. But I do really like these neutral colors, and it is so soft. I think it's my first time knitting color work in one of those sort of fluffy blown types of yarns, and it is a little bit cumbersome to knit, I will admit. I would be much faster at this if it weren't for such a fuzzy yarn, but the feeling of it is really, really, really nice. So I am knitting the large size. Ooh, that wasn't expected. I hope my neighbor doesn't keep drilling. I knitted the large size. I'm not sure how long I'll make it. If I'll make it as the pattern suggests, I think I'm just going to knit it until it feels long enough. But yeah, that is my Russell scarf. I don't particularly like George Russell for the F1 fans among us, so I may have to rename that to, I don't know, Hamilton scarf? Antonelli scarf? We'll see, but it is such a fun pattern, and I had to go down quite a bit in needle size to get the 19 stitch gauge. So I went from a suggested 6mm needle to a 4mm needle, and that seems to work quite well. So yeah, there is my new yarn and new scarf, which I have a feeling I will finish just as it'll be too warm to wear it, but next winter this will be so cozy. Like, I was in London yesterday and it was cold and windy, and I was just thinking, I wish I had this scarf done already because some testers have finished it. It would be so nice. Anyways, that is my Russell scarf. And I also started a pair of socks. And yes, I still have a pair of socks on the go. Maybe we should talk about them first. This is still the Katja concept yarn sock that I'm knitting. I have finished the first sock, except I need to Kitchener it. And then I shall make the second one. But I needed a little pick-me-up the other day, so I also started a new sock. And this is using some really, really old stash yarn. This is hedgehog fibers in the colorway Popsicle, which I think may have been a club colorway because, let's be honest, most of my hedgehog fibers yarn that I've ever used is club colorways. So it's hedgehog fibers sock, club color Popsicle, and I came back to this because years ago I knit quite a few pairs of socks out of this yarn, which is a 90% merino, 10% nylon. And I think back in the day, some people didn't used to like this base, but I always really liked it. It's very thin, and it creates a fabric that it's not super like plushy and bouncy, but I think it wears really, really well, and it feels like similar to a store-bought sock. So yeah, I have done almost a sock. I started this on Monday, today is Wednesday, but I did have a fair bit of commuting knitting and meeting knitting in the meantime. So I need to measure this. I think I have to go a little bit further and then I can start the toe. This sock will be for me, as per the other one. It's a plain vanilla 64 stitch sock, except this one has a longer 1x1 cuff for the rainbow rib, and this one has my usual 2x2. So yeah, those are the socks that I've been working on. I've just been needing a bit of colourful, speckly sock knitting, and I think this yarn must be in my stash for at least 6 years. Whoa, sorry, big coughing fit, but hopefully that was it, and maybe that's a sign I shouldn't keep recording for too much longer. But I did want to show you my Sunday sweater mohair edition that I'm knitting with my sister. I mentioned this last week or last time I recorded. I am making this with my sister. For her, it'll be her second ever sweater that she's made. So it's really fun to work on this with her. I did see just yesterday that Petite Knit updated the size range on this pattern, which is great, and also added short rows. So I haven't looked at the new pattern. I was always going to add short rows, but now I can hopefully just follow the pattern. So that's great. So this is where we are, still in the middle of the yoke, but I think I only have 2 more increase rows to go. And the yarn that I'm using is Whole Super Soft in the Space shade and Filcolana Tilia. Well, my cough is much worse than I had expected, and honestly I don't have the tech capabilities and, more importantly, the time to do any fancy editing on this, so I'll try to keep it short, both for your sake and mine. But I have shown you basically most of my knitting, except for like little projects that I've worked here and there, but they're not really worth showing anyways. I am going yarn shopping in London with a knitting colleague and friend on the weekend, so I'm really excited by that. Hopefully might do some damage. We'll see. I'll let you know what I get up to. I have been doing a bit of embroidery. I did continue on my February stitch journal, and I'm about to get my new Hoop Club by Cotton Clara, which I've mentioned a while ago. I didn't do her last one because I didn't like the design, but you may remember the lemon one that I did, and the current one is really, really pretty. So I've signed up again, and I do have some leave lined up next week. So I'm hoping to get lots of time to make all the things, do lots of crafting and knitting and stitching and listening to audiobooks. That is the plan. I hope it works out. So yeah, that's basically what I've been crafting. Otherwise, for non-knitting news, we have been doing loads of gardening. We had my sister here for half term to basically look after my son so we could work, but obviously it was also very fun. And yeah, we did our garden. We were very, very optimistic, but we've been doing so much planting and now we're just hoping things survive. I think we've made pretty informed choices, but yeah, I'm excited and hope that the frost that may come in the next couple of days is alright. I do have some plants stashed away in our conservatory as well, so if things fail, at least I have some backups. But I hope it doesn't come to that. And yeah, we've been having loads of housework done as well, both planned and unplanned. We're getting new flooring this weekend upstairs, which will be a massive pain, but I'm really looking forward to it. We also had a break-in right next door, so we have been fitting alarms and systems and cameras and lights and motion detectors and all that stuff, which has not been fun, but hopefully now we can sleep again at night, because that was quite close to home, quite literally. What else have we been doing? Like, just like we've been fixing stuff around the house. We fixed our kitchen leak to then have another small leak, but now I think it should all be hopefully okay. But yeah, it just seems like we've been having people come and go and like dealing with builders and hotlines and stuff for ages, but we did get lots of stuff done, which is great. It feels really productive, and now we're back in the routine, which I'm so thankful. And hopefully, I'm maybe this is naive. I just read Berkman's Meditations for Mortals, which is a great book if you're looking for one, where it gives you sort of different ideas for sort of productivity and life and whatever. And one of the things you're not supposed to do is, that thinking that one day all the things will be done and things will be easier and less stressful, because let's face it, it really won't be. But I am catching myself thinking things should slow down a bit now. No more curveballs. I just need a couple of weeks of sort of normal. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, like I said, I have some leave planned. I think it's about 7 weeks until we go away on holiday, which will be great. And my son is back at school, which, as fun as it was to have him home, our house was just so full and always noisy. And the fact that we can now have a sort of quiet conversation or like a quiet meeting at work is really, really nice. So yeah, I hope to do some more crafting soon. That shawl, the bind off, took me so long. So it feels like I've missed a week of knitting because I spent most of my half term just doing that stupid border and I-cord bind off. But now that that's out of the way, I'm hoping to feel more productive with my knitting as well. We'll see how that goes. Yeah, and I think I should probably let you guys go before my voice goes or I have another coughing fit. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. Do let me know what you're knitting on. I hope you're safe and healthy and doing well. Apologies for another funky episode, but I'm just gonna get this out. I'm not gonna wait until the stars align and maybe I don't have a cough. Who knows what'll happen tomorrow? So we're just gonna send this little knitting update into the world. And if you've made it until here and you enjoy this podcast, then thank you so much. I appreciate you guys. Take care. Have a good week. Bye.